to commemorate a few more legends that we have lost this week. So tonight I will be honoring James M. Tume, founder and creator of the group M. Tume. I will also be honoring comedian Bob Saget, whose death kind of took us by surprise. So if you didn't see um, my posting this week to discuss that, yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm going across the right path here. And I'm also going to be honoring rock and roll princess Ronnie Spector, who also passed away. And if you don't know, Ronnie Spector is the ex-wife of Phil Spector. Ronnie had a group in the 60s that started out in the 50s and 60s, I think the 60s, called the Ronettes. So if you would like to listen to the music that I will be playing tonight without the broadcast, my playlist is on Spotify under Adam's Rib 66, under the Eclectic Weekends broadcast with this weekend's date on it. I'm also going to be honoring a guy who was a founding member of Parliament Funkadelic. I think Calvin, can't remember his entire name. And I'm going to be honoring Marilyn Bergman, who, with her husband, was a prolific songwriter. She wrote, if you remember Barbara Streisand's The Way We Were, her and her husband were responsible for writing that. So one of the reasons I'm going live, is number one, to be consistent, because I don't want to keep them saying I'm going to do stuff and then not doing it, despite the warfare. Um, Also, I want to discuss a few things that I have been coming across. So, as I've said before, I've become a bit of a YouTube addict, and so a I have an account with I have an email account with Gmail, which is run by Google, who owns YouTube. So I have a subscription to YouTube, so I don't just get on and look at videos and whatever else. I subscribe to different channels if I like their content. And I also have a YouTube channel. So like when I go live, like I'm doing right now, this live is also going to my YouTube channel. So, and like I said before, I've been looking for ways to be able to make this lucrative and monetize without having to require anyone, donating unless they wish to. So I've got a whole lot of stuff. Plus, I'm doing a whole lot of infrastructural things within my own apartment to make it easier for me to broadcast from home, and all of that there. So I will be a home DJ, but I will, be making. I'm turning one of my rooms into an office, so I'm trying to get that together. So if I don't know how many of you have heard of the Black women divesting. So I'm going to give you a few key points as to why I will not be divesting, even though I listen to some of the channels and I kind of understand how they feel. Okay, because they feel as though the black community does not value them because they're women. different little stuff like that. So it's a couple of them that I listen to, and they go pretty harsh on the brothers, and I can kind of and like I said, I can kind of understand why they are going kind of harsh because the black men who do the things that they're doing kind of deserve the harshness. So I will not be divesting. And the reason why I'm not joining the Divest Club is the same reason why I don't listen to black men who go in on black women and talk about why they don't date us. Because number one, both groups are tagging other black people with the same behavior. You know, not all black men are three trash bag carrying dusties. Not all black women fit the stereotype that a lot of black men assign. Okay, not to date us. And for the black women who have dating immediately, and I'm going to talk about some of this stuff. I woke up. Excuse me. It's amazing to me how many semis get on the road and act like I'm like you're bigger than the rest of us, so you have to take a little more time trying to change lanes. You can't just decide you want to be over here and it ain't enough room for you to get over. Okay, so I'm trying to speed up to get out of this mug's way so he can get over. Plus, a white guy with a shrub, just like a white guy with a gun or alcohol. So I'm not divesting because number one, all black men aren't trash bag carrying dusties. But I also feel like many times we're concentrating on the very black man that we really should not give our attention to. And that's the ones who pathologically date out because they have issues with black women. And none of their issues really carry any clout. Are there black women who fit the description that some of these guys are talking about? Some do, but so do some white women, so do some Latin women, so do some Asian women, and yet there you are in their face. Some of them don't even really see you as on their level, and you're yet still in their face. Okay, so I looked at this one. I mentioned Cynthia G, one of my young ladies that I listen to, and she was talking about this guy, I guess, that had said, well, how come black women don't stand up to racism the way they stand up to black men? And I'm like, which black women have you been around? Because you must not have looked during the time of the Black Lives Matter protests that have been global because of the death of George Floyd, the murder of George Floyd. And I'll be honest with you, it's not that I don't trust white people, I just don't trust white supremacy nor racism. And I don't trust racist systems. So yeah, he got life, and he probably got life because they don't want nobody tearing up the city again. Okay? Now, I mean, I guess that's a good thing, but it shouldn't take fear of people tearing up a city for black people to get justice. So I'm still a little, I'm still a little like, because at 55 years of age, I have lived long enough to know that many of the rights that we have gotten, that women have gotten, that different minority groups have gotten, we got because we protested. We got because we showed our booties. We didn't get it because white men all of a sudden decided, let's be kind and benevolent. I think we've oppressed these people long enough, So let us go ahead and issue out some rights. No, we got them because we fought for them. We got them because we protested. We got them because we refused to ride a bus that treated us less than equal. We got them because of what we fought for. And it takes continuing to fight. I'm continuing to fight the good fight of faith. So I'm not dealing with the whole divest movement because there's a part of me that says it sounds a little human trafficking. So if you don't know, in Columbus, we have been dealing with some issues of human trafficking. And many times, you know, you see stuff and I'm one of those people, you can't get by with certain behavior with me just because you're nicer to me than you are other Negroes. Okay? Because I recognize you being nice to me does not mean that you feel like I am equal to you. You being nice to me can take all kinds of forms. You could be being nice to me to hide the fact that you really secretly don't like us at all and be taking out all your real frustrations out on the black folks that you don't feel like are respected. Okay? And it's not just racism that I feel that way about. I feel that way with sexism as well. You know, a man, I remember when I worked for Saturdays, my first job in hair, there was a guy there that had a reputation for being very sexist and sexually harassing the other women that he worked with. Now, he didn't try but so much with me. And I think a lot of times, a lot of white men are afraid to try stuff with us that they try with white women because of black women and the whole angry black woman stereotype. So they're going to be a little bit, dependent on the white guy and how entitled they feel and how um, emboldened they feel. Um, they tend to, well, and I don't think it's because they find us less attractive. I think it's because they fear us less. We're not as conditioned as white women to not stand up for ourselves against certain type of behavior. So, and I always think it's interesting when the men who should have our backs, black men, will say, well, you all are less demure, you're not as submissive, they're also not fighting the battles that we fight every day either. The women that you're saying are more demure, more submissive, more this and more that, are not fighting the battles that black women fight on a regular basis. Whether it's systematic racism and oppression coming from outside, or it's colorism and different stupid shit coming from inside. So because of what we're dealing with, and not just professionally. Professionally is half the battle. We also fight a lot of stuff personally in our personal lives. Because what goes on with you professionally, how you make your money, and your ability to be able to make money and take care of your household and do all of that does affect you personally on some level. Okay, unfortunately, it winds up dealing with you personally because it affects where you live, it affects who you interact with in your personal life, it affects a whole lot of the car you drive, you name it. It affects everything. So one of the reasons why I'm not dealing with the whole divest crew, and that's the black women who are um, deciding to date anybody but black men. I'm like, well, you're not sounding any better, because the one so she put up this post where this black man talked about how Spanish women are better and this, that, and the other. And then it came the post where this guy, and it was just mainly her exposing the ignorance of these particular guys. So I was just like, you evidently don't do your history and don't Google your history, because everywhere I look, black women are leading the hatch are leading the battle um, when it comes to. In fact, we have led the battle so much that there are black women who are saying, fall back and quit being out front so much. And they're saying it because when the smoke clears, black men go right back to posting all this idiotic mess, degrading and downplaying their own women. And, and I have a problem with that. I have a real problem with only being good enough to march with you when a cop is going upside your head or some other. But yet, when the smoke clears, you go right back to saying that we're unacceptable as wives and mothers. Okay? Something to think about. And so I saw a thing where they said black women are choosing better, and guess who's getting mad? Now, I'll probably look at it tonight, but to me, are they really choosing better, or are they just choosing different? I remember one young lady who I used to follow that used to talk about, she used to kind of get on black women's case because we don't date out anymore. I don't think you're missing out on anything by not entertaining men who don't find you wife worthy any more than black men do. Okay? So you have to be careful who you're entertaining in the first place. And so, I was like, well, I don't think that choosing white is choosing better. Or choosing outside is choosing better, because if you go within these communities, they're having the same issues that we're having, especially when you talk about dating. They're dealing with sexism. They're dealing with all kind of internalized stuff. Just because you see a happy outside doesn't mean that things are all that. You still have to evaluate. You you still have to evaluate properly, and you still have to evaluate character, even if you decide to date outside your community. So I don't necessarily think that swirling is the answer. I think, now, I was looking at something this morning, and the woman made a very excellent point. She said, if you think racism doesn't exist anymore, you live in a very narrow bubble. And you do. No matter where. I mean, I've had a lot of white friends over the years, and I still experience racism. It didn't cocoon me at all. Okay, I still had to fight against it. And like I said before, a lot of sisters are up against it. So you want us to fight for everybody while you get at ease in Zion. It's not right. And so when I listened, I said, evidently this guy hasn't looked at the news and hasn't looked in the past few years to see that black women have constantly carried the torch. Now, I'm not going to say that black men have been lazy, because that really has not been the case. Okay, there have been black men who have fought that fight too. Unfortunately, they're not the ones that are on social media talking about, berating black women and talking about how we don't make good wives and don't qualify to be married and all this other stuff. And this week I am definitely going to post a little bit more than I have been. Well, I'm gonna post a whole lot more than I have been. Black Black History Month is coming up, and I'm wanting to prepare for that a little early. So I will be doing I don't know how many days, 20 some days of black feminism again this year, where I go and I talk about, notable figures. I think it was last year that I celebrated our um, Vice President, Kamala Harris. I also reposted here recently the post that I did on Lord have mercy. Why am I so forgetful anymore? Anyway, I'll discuss that some more tonight. So for some of y'all, I have a very controversial figure that is being honored tonight on tonight's show, and that figure is Bob Saget. and I will go into why tonight. And I will go into why I chose to go ahead and continue um, with the dedication, because he's not the only one that I'm dedicating, but he's probably the more controversial one out of the people that I'm dedicating, that I'm, honoring tonight. So I will talk in depth about it. Wherever you, so tonight, so when I do my live broadcasts, I don't do them live like I'm doing tonight, today. I do them live from an app called Station Head. So on Station Head, you can download the app, and if you put all your stuff in, you can even create your own if you have an iPhone. Right now I don't think that Android has broadcast abilities, because when I had my Android phone, I wasn't able to do my show from the Android phone. I wasn't able to live broadcast or anything like that. And I don't throw none of my stuff that I'm doing away. So the only place that you can really broadcast is from I, iPhone. So, but to listen to my show, you have to download the Station Head app. And this weekend, since I am off tomorrow, thank you, Jesus, I am going to get busy with posting on my Perfect Pitch blog the last few dedications that I have, last few episodes of Eclectic Music Geek that I have been doing. So I'm going to go ahead and post those over the weekend. So if you want to listen to the broadcast, you can. Or if you just want to listen to the music that I put up there, you can. Now, the music is not going to be, the music that, is on the Spotify is not going to be all the music that I played. Obviously, it is going to be, it's enhanced, and I chose to enhance that particular playlist. I choose to enhance my playlist because I like for you to not only hear the people that I'm honoring, but people who are considered to be contemporaries. So you know kind of where to place them when you are thinking about, okay, so that would have been during that time period, and this is what was going on during that time period. So you have a bit of a um, context for the person's talent, the stuff that they wrote or sung about or did comedy about, and all of that stuff there. So I'm, almost at work now and everything. I look forward to hearing you guys tonight. Um, I also want to, on the Station Head app. So when I do my radio broadcast, it is on Station Head. It will be on, it's on Station Head. You have to download the Station Head app. You also have the ability to listen to me from my laptop, and I'm giving that information, and I will give it again tonight on how to listen to me from, the laptop or whatever. Also, feel free wherever you follow me at, even during these lives like this, wherever you follow me at, always feel free to comment. I don't have a problem. I welcome your comments. Be respectful. If you are disrespectful, you will get blocked. If you say disrespectful things about black women or black people, you will be blocked. Okay? And that goes for black people as well. Okay. If you are disrespectful to me or any of my other followers, you will be blocked. I will not do it. But, wherever you're looking at me from, if you're looking at me from the Habs app, feel free to also, and I really like this app. They've made some changes that I'm not real happy with. So there are some things that I kind of wish they would change back, such as, the coins and different things. We used to get coins every time we logged in, and we now don't. But if you want to do coins for me or whatever, you can do that. The Station Head also has the same thing where you can award coins. But I'm at work now, so I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I will be on the air tonight on Station Head at midnight. This actually works better for me because it gives me a little more time to prepare for each show. And I will, discuss everything I want to discuss in a little more depth tonight. So I should see you guys later. Love you. The people that I discussed, if you follow them or any of their relatives on social media, um, make sure that you leave some encouraging words for them, some loving words. It is not easy if you follow anybody that was part of the Full House cast. um, Leave them some encouraging words. If you have a problem with what you perceive as Mr. Sagget's past indiscretions of any kind, please do not come for the cast because they're innocent. He's a grown man or was a grown man, and they are innocent in anything that you know, you know his humor may have touched on. So I will talk to you guys later. I love all of you. I will I will be posting today's. Like I said before, I'm gonna start posting these weekly things, these on our way to work things, on my Anjanette Speak blog because I plan to talk about very notable topics like I did this morning, very controversial topics. I don't mind a little bit of controversy. I also want to be able to go into what does God's word say about some of this stuff that some of these people are going in on, because believe it or not, the Bible does address racism. Okay, one of my girls that I listened to, Cynthia G, started going into the scriptures. Now, the only thing, she's not the devil. She's actually pretty cool. But I tend to want to use the word of God to empower other people, especially black people and women and everything. The groups that don't get empowered a whole lot. So I will talk to you all later. I love you. Be blessed. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. And I will talk to you later. Bye bye.